Hey guys, welcome back to the CNSL Season 6 on ArtosisCasts. Right now we are in the loser match of the round of 32 Group H. Almost done. One more group to go after Group H. Kind of funny it's going to be Group A. That's just how scheduling worked out. But yeah, this is going pretty well so far. I think we've got a really star-studded round of 16. And, you know, we have Mihu that just advanced. Super exciting. DeWalt has advanced. It's going to be awesome. Here, this match, I do think is favored towards Oregon. We have Oregon here in the top left, a very old school Terran Pro gamer, and he's going up against Saber. Saber, I think, a little bit of the underdog of this group. One of the weaker players probably overall in the tournament. I wouldn't even call him the weakest, though. But... you know, obviously, I think a lot of people, at least that do watch ArtosisCasts, saw the match between him and Mihu and maybe underestimate him a little bit because of that. You know, he is a very good player. He gets a lot of good matches, but definitely didn't do well there. So let's see what he's able to do against Oregon. Oregon looks to be going for a wall to open, like a depot barracks type thing. Can be a little bit tricky against pool first because the Marines are going to pop out on the outside of the barracks, and obviously with the drone scout coming this quickly, that's highly annoying, man. Like, you got to send a couple more SCVs most likely. He's going to send one right now, but you can see, like, already it's being slowed quite a bit. It's not a pool first, so none of this is, like, life endangering or whatever. You know, none of this can really win the game, and you see he did need to send two. He sent one, and then he sent another. But good micro here can continue to annoy you, like, immensely. The drone just has a bit more range than the SCV, so bad things can occur. Very good move there from Oregon to just repair the SCV during this. And, yeah, I mean, it looks like he just wants to expand. He hasn't really scouted yet, so he's going to have to start his second depot. Can't really take the risk there with just the command center right away. But we'll see what he does. I mean... you never know. I don't see the depot yet, and you kind of want it by 15. Is he real? Okay, there it is. I was like, is he really just going to go command center? But no, it looks like it's all going to be fine. He's taking a lot of damage on these SCVs. The early drone scout, like, I mean, I guess that was worth it. He forced 3 SCVs off the mineral lines for at least some amount of time. Put a lot of damage on. The damage may or may not help later on. Occasionally, these damaged SCVs... will get picked off by mutas later on in the game. It's kind of a funny thing. Like, it's a good move for a Terran player to kind of remember that there are some damaged SCVs and then decide what they want to do. Like, you could send them to the natural when you have a wall like this. Lings won't kill them. And then when your medics come out, just have them heal them up. That type of thing, right? Because when they do get super low like that, even just glaive bounces might pick them off. And then suddenly that drone, his power has echoed into eternity, which is not something that you want. Now, only a single Marine has been produced so far. The scouting SCV coming down. Oh, no, I guess there was a secondary Marine that was sent out. And he's trying to figure out exactly what's going on. We can see that this is a very fast, you know, two-hatch Spire. Just the very standard stuff out of Saber. Second racks, plus that Academy going to be going up. So this is a 2 racks Academy rush from Oregon. And since he has that wall, it can be a very fast one as well. So... this is, like, basically the 2 most standard builds in the matchup going at it, right? We're going to have Oregon pushing out just before the Spire is done to try to force some sunken colonies. And then over on Oregon's side, over on Saber's side, he is making that third hatchery in his main base. This has been pretty popular lately, I feel like, actually, as opposed to building it on location. Maybe because of the amount of Academy rushes out there that can make it a little bit hard to hold on. So anyways, the SCV's going down for that transfer. Academy's going to be finishing up here. And he's actually slightly Marine light, and this probably just has to do with the amount of harassment he took. And this is actually the right move, right? So basically, if you nail the 2 racks Academy rush perfectly, and the drone interrupted that, just to make this really clear, like the drone making those SCVs not mine, with like all the right mining and everything, you get 8 Marines and 2 medics out of your base at 5 minutes. Okay, here he's unable to hit those numbers. Some things had to be skipped, some things had to be slowed. So instead of 2 medics, he made a fire bat and a medic. So that'll make it about as strong against Zerglings. So yeah, that's like a good adjustment. And you can see over here, Saber is giving that respect. Notice how he just walked out of vision of the Overlord. That's the main thing. If you get out of vision of the Overlord, Zerg doesn't know exactly where you're at. Like, maybe he has a Ling here, and he's like, oh, no, I don't think you're coming. But generally, you're going to be able to force that. Here, Oregon was kind of waiting. If a counterattack had tried to come, he could have stopped it because he stood so close by. So he's just kind of roaming the center right now. The Marines holding the wall are going to be completely safe. He's got a little group, as you see, just standing around in the middle. Maybe going to try to fake a little bit more pressure or possibly catch the Mutalisks rallying across the map. That can be a good move if you have a good idea of it. Oh god, the Lings actually did break in and killed a couple Marines, it looks like, and they will get a medic as well. So this is a nice move from Saber. Yeah, look at that. Gets a Marine. I don't think he'll be able to finish off this medic. Oh, a little bit slow there. A little bit slow. He might be able to actually kill the medic. Wow, guys, that's actually a pretty big deal to kill 2 of the first medics. Oh my god, and he didn't leave any units at home, so the Ling's getting in on top of some of these turrets, dealing a ton of damage right now. Oh my god, the Muta's getting up here before the turrets are done as well. Wow. Honestly, impressive from Saber. Kept a lot of pressure on there. There were some mistakes made from Oregon. Losing that second medic was a bit sloppy. Didn't leave any units here to block Lings coming back in. And now his missile turrets aren't done, and he's starting to take real damage. It's not the 7 mutas. It just now is getting there, but he's taken some damage. See if he can add those additional mutas in to one-shot those SCVs. But looks like right now he's just killing off anything he can. And, you know, honestly, like, this is big damage. This is big damage coming out right now. Oregon is not dead, just to make it clear, right? Like, he's still got some decent missile turrets. He's still at 30 SCVs. So, you know, when they're putting out this much damage... Oh, that's funny. He had to just rally point up here for the mutas and then popped a couple drones in, so those rallied up. But, you know, if you have, like, let's call it 33 SCVs plus, then you're still on an okay count for 2 base. Like, you can still kind of do it in TVZ. But also, when your opponent is harassing more heavily with the Mutalisks, you can produce the SCVs and slow your factory down. That is one option. In fact, it's probably the best option in a scenario like this, is to just remake the SCVs because your opponent is taking a lot of damage on his Mutalisks. That will allow you to then counter pressure with your Marines and medics. So it is going to be a much slower factory. This is a good adjustment from Oregon. I would say so far, I like Saber's position more, but it's not like he's about to win the game, right? So we're not trying to overstate this, but certainly he's done really well with the Mutalisks thus far. Now, Oregon coming out, this is a very important move out right now. It's hard to go across these bridges. You can see Saber kind of taking a look at the bridges, ready for these units to try to get over. He's waiting right now for that +1. You really want +1 done before you have the engagement. It makes a gigantic difference against the Mutalisks. Factory is coming up. And to put this in perspective, right, the factory started after 8 minutes. It normally starts before 7 minutes, right? So it's over a minute late in this case. Yeah, it's not like the biggest deal in the whole world, but just something to point out there, how it's really interesting because much of this stemmed from the initial drone, and there's a lot of to and fro there, right? It's not just the Zerg getting advantage the whole time. It's like Oregon has bent his build around. And you see, right, he's at 39 SCVs, very healthy. He's got good turrets. Like, these are very solid turrets overall, continual production. He's really dealt with that damage amazingly well. And it's not that Saber's not doing well here either, right? He's actually made a good amount of speedlings. He's got a full group of mutas here, blocking those bridges. You know, it's really hard to come over the bridges. If he tries, there is the possibility of a good engagement here. Okay, loses 1 muta there. That was a little bit sloppy, but still very hard to get across. The Lings will help as well. In the meantime, we have the third gas getting going here for Saber. His hive finishing up. Already the evolution chamber with that +1 carapace, and some lurkers are being made. So if he gets lurkers up in key positions... Oh, no. What are we doing? Oh, that's crazy. That was Saber throwing away his advantage. Ah! That was way too many Marines. I'm really surprised he sent the Lings up. It's okay to bring in your mutas and try to micro against a group, but honestly, the way the group was sitting, it didn't look like he'd do well, and he didn't. But sending the Lings over the ramp, like, that was pretty wasteful, honestly. Now, some lurkers come up, and they are going to be able to guard this middle bridge really easily. The muta's keeping tabs. And honestly, it's like the bridges are just so hard to walk over, right? This is the thing about Dark Origin. It's a map where containment is king, because the bridges are very hard to do. And then you can go this other way, but you're going up a ramp, you're going down a thin area, and this area of the map that you would have to walk out. Oh, hold on, I'll talk about that later. Actually, we have Oregon stemming through. Oh, this is a beautiful move from Oregon. Oh my God, smashes the lurkers. The mutalist count reduced dramatically as well. Marines continuing to stem across the map. It does seem as if there's enough lurkers here that Saber shouldn't really take damage. Oh my God, he doesn't see these Marines. This is, oh, there is not a lot of units here. He is going to get some serious damage. Look at that. Picks off all the units coming in. The lurkers burrow, but then he just runs back, picking off drones as well. This little group of Marines absolutely doing a fantastic job. And now Oregon coming down the ramp here. Oh, that's a lot of lurkers. You can't be engaging that. These Marines continue to be highly annoying. Saber looks like he will end up holding on. It's not like he's dead right now. His supply is actually pretty healthy. Consume is almost done. Let's take a look at Oregon's base. Science vessels being produced. More racks is being added. So he's actually going up to 6 barracks here before a 3rd command center. Not surprised. Yeah, I guess his minerals did peak there for a moment, but also sometimes when you take the early damage and all your timings are pushed back a bit, it's smart to get like a lot of production, like 6 racks production, just so you have a lot of units on the map and nothing else can go haywire. And you can keep more pressure on that way as well. So a lot of lurkers out here right now. Now, Saber is making a defiler. He has consumed. So you want to make sure that you're not messing up and losing these lurkers without a defiler present. But is he going to try to Darkstorm push the whole map? That's a little bit difficult to do. Normally, you're looking more to secure more expansions, maybe do a little runaround. Yeah, see, this is exactly the move Oregon wanted. And Darkstorm does go down, but he loses like 3 lurkers there, and that's basically free for Oregon. The Marines are very expendable, and if you can trade some in a situation like this for lurkers, you're extremely happy with that. Then you can utilize irradiates, keep that pressure on more as well. Now the Darkstorm goes down. This group should be able to pull back. Kind of an area with a lot of doodads here, which can block army movement. Does pull back, though, and there you go. Starting to set up a better location as far as defensive properties. Ooh, gets a pick on that defiler. Pulls back. Good micro, good map awareness right now from Oregon. You can see he's controlling this side, and he's controlling in between the bridges and the incoming army, as well as trying to pressure the 4th. I think what we're seeing here, like this never-ending push forward, like, should he be doing this? Oh my God, he's gonna go for the break onto the high ground? Well, I guess it was only 2 lurkers. Some spines end up hitting there, but yeah, this middle area did not do any favors to Saber. Really feels like Oregon is controlling this game for sure. He's got his 3rd base up. You know, a great opener from Saber, but certainly we have to ask ourselves some questions about what he was doing with the Ling attack over this bridge, and then this giant push through the center with the lurkers. Like, if he had doubled up like the amount of lurkers he had here, right? Instead of having just 2 after the 2 radiates, if he sends 2 more up and holds them there, you know, he's doing pretty good. Maybe he was trying to avoid there being a big contain at his bridge. But honestly, you can always do a plague-based push later on. So I feel like a lot of this in the center has not done what he was looking for. Plague does go down. Another lurker on the side going to get picked off. Oh, a nice plague there on some of the vessels. Saber continuing to get some upgrades. You know, he's got a pretty good drone count right now. Getting some good upgrades. Oh, he's switching into Hydra Lurker Defiler from here. Okay, so Hydra Lurker Defiler is super, super cost efficient. But you can't play it aggressive like he was just doing. Well, I mean, you can, but it's less strong. It's better to play it a bit defensively and then just start mass plaguing. Also, the Hydras do a fantastic job of kind of zoning out science vessels, right? So these plagued vessels, they're going to get picked off very quickly. See? Just, they die almost instantly. But trying to push over these little bridges is really hard, especially when there's a couple fire bats in the mix. Really makes those lings get fried so quickly. They also do some good tanking because they get ahead of the Marines, so sometimes the lurker shots will hit the fire bat and like kind of miss the most of the Marine clump. Meantime, we have a good amount of lurkers here. 4, that's pretty unbreakable, especially with the Defiler. Saber once again going into the center. Oregon coming up, mixing it up here. He has those extra fire bats, so playing very bravely as he should. More plagues going down. Going to want to be picking those off with the Hydras as the plague hits its full amount of damage. Oh, he actually has battlecruiser tech. I don't think he'll actually make any battlecruisers. When you realize your opponent is going for this composition, battlecruisers are kind of the worst thing you can make. They're countered by everything your opponent's doing. But he probably made that before thinking it would be like an Ultralisk follow-up, which it wasn't. But he is making drop ships, which is considered pretty good against this strat. So, you know, all this focus, all these units in the center, he may be able to fly drop ships around the side and get some damage. Now, you can see Saber is actually, he's doing a good job. Like, he's farming those plagues like I was talking about before. This is a key tenet of this strategy. He's trying to pick off vessels. Very good, right? Like, here's a couple vessels. Can easily pick those off. If he targets them, there you go. Gets one. Okay, gets them both. Gets them both. Some irradiates get off. And you see, Oregon's control of the center is going away. Like, he doesn't have that much left. A little bit of a sloppy engagement here. But here come the 4 dropships, and we're going to have to see what he does with those. Oh, that's funny. 2 Scourge just sitting there, catch 2 of them, but don't kill them. So those dropships still have their massive payload. Looks like this base going to get canceled. Saber fighting back. Doing a pretty decent job right now. These 4 dropships, though, can just change the game around. If he gets a good drop-off with it, that can end the game. Right? Like, you get it. You kill any base right now, and it's bad news bears for Saber. Okay, the 4 dropships going towards main base. Saber just seems completely, like, has no idea that this is occurring right now. Okay, the Scourge almost accidentally hits the very damaged dropship there. And, wow, picks off that Defiler. Very big move. Moves forward with the Marines and Medics. This drop is excellent right now. It's doing some decent damage. It's getting some drones. And look at this. A giant counterattack, as well as a lot of units have to move. It looks like we have an attack here. My God, attacks absolutely everywhere at the moment. But it does seem like Oregon is coming out on top. Oh, no scan there right away. Okay, looks like this will be cleaned up, but he loses his 3rd base. This base is killable. This base, well, he got the command center out of there. But I don't think you can push much further. We don't see a Defiler in with this army. Maybe with a Defiler you'd have some sort of chance. But it's going to go down to just Hydroling in a moment here. And better upgrades for his opponent as well. No units left at the 4th. So that's going to be it. Saber eliminated Oregon to the final match.